Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, LoneStarMopars.com. It is Sunday afternoon, it is about 5:30, it is pretty nice outside, no wind, which is really rare, probably mid-60s to 70 degrees. Just got back from a walk, the Cowboys won, and more importantly, we've got a lot of stuff here in the shop that you're going to enjoy. First thing first, I will confess I'm doing this out of order. This should have been tool haul like 24. I'm pushing it up for a couple of reasons. Number one, this is new. I've not seen anything else on it. And two, it's also going to tie in nicely with something we just did from our VHA tool haul number 5. So this is KC tool haul, I believe 21 now. Again, technically this should have been 23, but since I've had a ton of stuff coming recently and it's sort of paced itself out, I can do whatever I want, so we're pushing this one up. Fittingly, we've got a new flyer from Wera. This is stocking stuffer time. If you didn't know, they do a lot of pretty cool promotions for Christmas. You can kind of see everything here. The Joker wrenches, which I've really liked using thus far. You can get a nice kind of starter set, 4-pack, whatever you prefer. They have a couple of Christmas promotions. Again, you can find all this stuff in the on sale section. But in addition to the flyer, we acquired yet another bit of things. Spoiler alert, if you are trying to complete the set or you're curious what all is included, I've got a link in the description box to the Lone Star Mopars forum where I've outlined everything I have. Some of you have contributed bits of things that I haven't received. If you see a vacant slot and you're like, hey, I've got number whatever, leave a comment. I will get it added. I will credit you for your contribution. That said, this is number 13 of 24, and I've got a ton of them. This is the T20 by 25 Torx titanium coated insert bit. Now, if this was a T25, I could care less about having a ton of them because I would burn through those. T20, not so much, but hey, it's free, so I can't really complain too terribly much. Now, this is here. It's a catalog. It looks terrible. There's a reason for that. It's covering something up, and just to keep you around in case you're going to leave, that's going to be involved in the back half of the video. So, probably, now that we've captured your attention, we'll continue on. Also of note, a lot of you asking about the thumb or wishing me well, thank you very much. We're sporting the Alpha Vibe in today's video, and I've got to tell you, it was Friday night. Came out here to the shop to kind of open some of this. I had 2 packages come in from KC Tool, and the green paper, the packing paper they use, right, pulled it out from all the tools. I was simply wadding it up to throw it away, make it take up less space in my trash can, and I kind of felt something weird, and I looked down, and my gloriously deformed and bloodied thumbnail tore off on one side, and it was the packing paper of all things that did it. I've been working, I've been doing a lot of things I probably shouldn't have been doing. Played basketball, which is how I stubbed this one. I jammed it last Saturday. I was wearing gloves when that happened, but that thumbnail is gone, so now this glove is not just blocking you from seeing a very, very bad looking thumbnail. I don't really know what skin is supposed to look like under a nail, because I've never lost one. I don't think this would be a textbook example. There's almost where I had my stitches on both sides. There's kind of a funky line that's bulging that I don't think should be like that in an ideal circumstance. But hey, we're just gonna make do. And with that said, this is what the video is all about. This is brand new. In fact, so new it's not in the catalog. This is something they just came out with. If you can't tell from the packaging, this is from Wera, and this is an impact bit set. This is going to be 1/2-inch drive. It's 9 pieces. It comes with one of their ridiculously fancy fabric things with Velcro on the back that ties in with all sorts of easy-go carry cases we don't have at this point in time. The reason for this purchase is twofold. Number one, it was tool of the day, so we picked it up for $65. Number two, it's literally brand new. KC Tool did sell out of these when it was tool of the day. See a lot of chatter about them, but no one brings them in. Up front, I want to tell you something, and I was also disappointed by it. These are not made in Germany. These are not made in the Czech Republic. And if you can kind of see where we're going and you had your hopes up for Austria, get ready to shed those tears. This is from Taiwan. Now, before you jump up in arms, the price is kind of reflective of that. You're getting 9 sockets and the case, $65. That's a pretty good value if you've ever priced out sockets from any of the German tool companies. It's comparable more to what you would pay for sort of run-of-the-mill stuff, you know, maybe a higher-tiered house brand, if you will, here in America. I think the reason a lot of people haven't brought these in and made videos on them, which you got to realize my stuff is way backlogged. You know, like I'm releasing videos this past week from 2 months ago. When I get a chance to make videos, I usually make like 4 or 5, and then you release one a week. Yeah, you know, you create backlogs sometimes. So the bottom line, though, I think a lot of people that would have brought these in probably held off when they found they weren't made in their preferred country, whether it be the Czech Republic or Germany. With me, I've kind of become a screwdriver snob, I'll admit that. I'm pretty picky about gloves now. Sockets, not so much. And there's good reason for that. At work, we have ancient proto stuff that's been around for years. It's been abused and used. Every once in a while, you'll kind of like round one out. And I mean, it's very rare for as old as those are. And I mean, a 15/16 socket, you see a ton of impact use. I'm kind of weird. I've got access. I've got my air compressor over here. I've got my impact gun. It's a Husky. It's what I bought when I was like probably 18 or 19. I don't know. And it came with a couple sockets. I didn't even realize I owned a metric impact socket. Spoiler alert, I actually own 2, and they're right here. Of course, with an impact socket, you want it to be black. You don't want it to be pretty in chrome, because if it ever strips, if it ever flakes any and this spinning on an impact, it will lacerate the snot out of you. I've seen it happen. It's usually like with an old Craftsman socket and an impact gun. If you're using standard hand tools, you're not going to generate enough RPMs for that to ever be an issue. You could cut yourself, but it's not going to be as catastrophic, if you will. The true story, I thought every socket included with that gun was SAE. You know, I thought it went from a fairly small, because it included an adapter, so I think 3/8 up to like 3/4. And then when I was going over there to grab a 5/8 so we could kind of roughly compare it, I realized I actually have a 17 and a 19. I can't tell you their logic. There's no 13, there's no 15, there's a 17 and a 19. That's the only 2 metric sockets included. And so I did actually own 2 that I didn't even know I had. So you got to realize, again, I come from old school Chrysler stuff. There is nothing metric on it. And I'm also kind of strange in the sense I like to do things manual. Even though I'm here, the air compressor, why did I buy it? Primarily for cutting stuff, you know, and fabrication type of tools, not necessarily dismantling with nuts and bolts. But this, needless to say, I'm going to give them a waiver on the Taiwan side of things. I want to see how they are. Number 2, I think there's going to be some really nice attributes here, like the Take It Easy tool finder. I liked, for example, what size is that? You're not going to know. You kind of see some rough riding. That's sort of how it is for me. You have to bring it way up here and, you know, kind of wait for your eyes to find it. Should be eliminated here with the Take It Easy tool finder. So it is Taiwan. That's the bottom line. And I think the reason a lot of people haven't brought it in past that, most people are set on their metric impact sockets, right? You know, if they were stolen, if you just had some walk off, if you're missing half of your set, if you're constantly rounding out 4 sizes, then it becomes a probable purchase for you. But for me, this was honestly something I can use and put to work, which makes the purchase much easier to justify. So, as with virtually everything Wera, it comes in ridiculously, absurdly fancy, sleek. It's very hard to describe their packaging. It does a good job conveying what the product is, but it also looks sleek and modern at the same time, which is not something you always see with tool stuff. But right there, that says impact proof. Take It Easy tool finder. It's got a twist to lock feature, so I'm excited to kind of see that as well. They claim it's belt C. There are, again, 9 sockets. As we flip this over, exact same stuff, just in detail. Again, if you use an impact tool, don't use your chrome-plated socket. You can do it, but eventually it will catch up with you. It will bite you. Take It Easy tool finder. You've got a twist to unlock feature. And then right there, the Wera 2 Go, which I have none of that. I know some of you have it and you love it. I think I've heard one person complain. Everyone else seems to think it's super cool. I'm still a little skeptical of like textile bags and Velcro. That said, I don't think they would put it out there and continue to sell it and expand on it if it sucked. So that probably says a lot right there. Now, what is included? It's probably easier if we just open this up. So let's do that. Now, looks like we have a couple of options, but knowing what I know about Wera packaging, it's going to work that way. So they just go above and beyond in this. You know, if they cut some of this out, we could probably sell this for $49, you know. But be a tool rebel. Well, indeed we are, because we brought this sucker in. No tattoo has fallen out yet, no sticker. But up at the top, we got a carabiner, and we're going to grab that, and let's just put it to the test immediately. So it is twist to lock. this is surprisingly good quality. This is better than I thought it would be. Again, I came in with skepticism. Everything they do is just so ridiculous. Like, once again, that's not just a little patch sewn on. That's like a three-dimensional thing like you see with their other products. When we flip this over, that is good Velcro. When I complained on some of the gloves recently that we brought in from Amazon about how their Velcro was like the cheap stuff, this is not. This is the high-quality stuff. The Carabiner might have personally like to see it be a little thicker, but I guess they know what they're doing. They must think that this is more than sufficient, and it does seem to be. But if you're a carabiner snob, I know some people are, especially like in the home gym community, right? I guess you could potentially update that, swap it, color code it, whatever you want to do. Gotta say though, looking at these, if I hadn't told you these were made in Taiwan, I don't think many people would know and complain, because they look fantastic. So let's come in back here. We've got the 17. As you can see, it is red. We're going to come in and just... That's nice. That is a very fluid motion. Don't know if you can see that there, but this is locked, and then we just barely, effortlessly turned it again. I'm doing all of this left-handed because of my thumb, which I still can't feel things at the very tip, by the way. But I'm hoping as the nail maybe grows and levels out whatever that cut line might be, if it does that. I don't know if it will or not. I'm hoping the nerves kind of continue to regen. So, but that is it. Unlocked, locked. It'll only go that way. It's just like, what, a slight kick out there. But it does seem to get the job done. So, starting in the back, we're going to go 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 in hand. At the front, we're going to tie in this direction, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 13 to 21, 9, right? Yes, 9 sockets. Wanted to make sure they didn't count that as a piece. But fittingly to match our glove here, we have got the Wera Impact socket. And I realize now I didn't grab a ratchet, of all things to have done. So we might pause this sucker, but it's a socket. You know, there's not much I can tell you. The SK Flex Zone seemed to kind of be a new hot thing not too long ago. And I know some people brought them in and they broke them. And I don't know if they would have broken a regular impact socket or not. But I know that I've had very good luck with everything Wera I have brought in. And I know that I needed these, and I'm willing to give them a go. Otherwise, you know, I probably would have been looking at Capri or Sun-X or something along those lines. Because quite frankly, to me, that's kind of like a throwaway tool. I'm not going to sink, you know, I'm not going to pay $50 for a socket, right? If it's a specialty one or it's stainless or something, possibly. But it would have to be something that I would need and use in the future. But for a standard, regular, run-of-the-mill impact socket, I'm not looking to spend a lot of money. I brought in 2 Tecton sets at work that have held up pretty good so far. Granted, they've only been out there like 5 months maybe. I think it's probably like July or so. Maybe more springtime than that. Mayish, we'll just say. And they have held up so far, but again, there are some impact sockets you can go and you can spend this much on one. And I'm not that type of a person. For a good tool, yes. For an impact socket, no, not me. That's not how we're going to spend our money. We're going to buy car parts instead. So there's really not a lot I can say. Now, sadly, I don't have any metric bullets and aren't going to be affixed somewhere randomly on the truck or the Challenger. So we can't even showcase that side of things. But what I will do towards the end of the video, I'll come in and we'll grab an impact. We'll see how they fit. We'll also grab our ratchet, because if you are getting started out, maybe you just got out of school or you're taking a job and you kind of have to provide your own equipment, and you're faced with a situation and people are like, well, you're going to need some chrome sockets and some impact sockets. No, buy the impact sockets, just get the one set. Use them for your everyday run-of-the-mill stuff. You would use a breaker bar or ratchet, whatever it might be. The reason I say that is you save a ton of money. As you get more established, maybe you figure out what brands you like. Maybe your cheap impact sockets sucked, you know, to never buy that brand again. You can step your game up, you can move on to chrome sockets. But if you have the choice, if you're on a budget and you have access to an impact, whether it be air tools or if you're coming in, you're going with an electric impact, take some time, think about it. Pick yourself up a set of impact rated sockets, and then of course you can use those for hand tools as well. So that to me is really the way to go. But kind of case in point, if we have that, drops back in place, spin this one off. There's our 13. It's the funky seafoam green. That's ever so cool. And then we go all the way up to 21. Now I really as I sit here and we film this, I don't know much more to do than tell you, like these are 6-point sockets. They look good. They don't feel cheap, for whatever that may be worth to you from my first-hand impressions. We'll check out some tolerances here in just a second. I do want to highlight this, though. In the pack, we did get our tattoo. We got our Wera Tool Rebels tattoo. That alone adds $15 of value, right? Here we have... English, English, English. Okay, we don't care about that. We're going to skip it. This strip right here would be the other Velcro. If we had the Wera to Go system, we picked out where we wanted it, we can make use of this and then slap that on top of it, and apparently it holds. I have no way of really testing that. And then this is actually printed in the packaging now, so that's an upgrade from the last thing. Again, this is a brand new item from Wera. It's literally hasn't even been out 2 months, if that. And you can see they now have that in the packaging. That's not a sticker, that's not an overlay, it's printed onto the box. So enjoy, you are a Tool Rebel. You can check them out, Wera Tool Rebels, on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. So this would make a great Christmas present as well. Super easy to wrap, and it wouldn't rattle much either. But something else that I want to hit on is conveniently from Wera, and it is right here. And you're probably thinking, okay, what is that? Wait, that looks like it would be a screw holder. Well, congratulations, you are correct. This is their part number 1441. Again, pick this up from KC Tool. We'll have links down below. $5.47 is the price. So tool of the day, $65. This for $5 and change. Basically walk out the door with free shipping for $70. Now, spinning it around, do we have any information? Indeed, we do. You can kind of see it in action here. There's actually 2 of these, and I wish I would have known this ahead of time. But what I will try to do, in fact, with my thumb, I'm going to go grab a ratchet, I'm going to grab an impact, I'm going to cut this, and once again, spoiler alert, we're just going to jump in with all of those. So, stay tuned. Welcome to the table, 3 of our close friends. And let's come right back over here with the 17 again. Twist and lift. Very simple. So, believe it or not, this is it. This is my impact gun. Again, I don't use them often at home. At work, all the time. At home, not often. Again, because I can't explain it. I just kind of get an extra satisfaction doing things manually, I suppose. That's the best way to put it. Has been used, but again, I kind of have the air compressor for cutoff wheels, things of that nature. So, sliding on here. And to bring that to my face, you can see it. Very tight fix between the tip and the actual socket. You can testament that by the way we're having to wiggle it off. Again, keep in mind, God, my left thumb is also kind of hurt, but not near as bad as the right one. But yeah, it fit the impact very well, I would have to say. We'll set that down. Now we're going to come in here, we're going to go cheap first. Okay, we're going to take our Tecton and we'll jump over here, and this is going to be the Husky 17mm. That was in the set that I didn't even know was in there until just a moment ago. We're going to take it, press it down. Fits very good, and again, these are probably good reason for that. But now let's take the Wera socket. We're going to put it into place. That might actually have a little better tolerance. I know it looks like it's slipping there, but in terms of the fitment, I have to say, really good. So, that was Tecton. Now we're going to come in with a Hazette 9, can't do that, 916 HP. Let's center this around. We're going to come in, line up here with the detent. Again, that's actually pretty good. The play between that is, I would say, better than usual. Now, the real test, we have this Wera one. This is just their Cyclops. Nothing fancy, they're almost bare bone. As you can tell, lowest tooth count out of all these. Let's take it, line her up, and press it in if we can. There we go. That actually has the most play. The Hazette, I think, was the best. Actually, the Impact was the best. Then Hazette, and then Tecton. And this actually has the most play. I don't know if that's because this is a detent, and this one's not. The Tecton is also a D-tint. Let's see if that helps any. I would say it and the Wera are very, very close. The Hazetto does not have a D-tint mechanism, and this sucker was mated just like it was to the gun. So all that is to be expected. But once again, I gotta say, for the money that we got it on Tool of the Day, and given the fact that I owned 2 metric sockets, which I didn't know that I owned, at least impact rated sockets, this is a good pickup for me personally, and we'll make good use of it, particularly with anything we work on for friends, the late model stuff, and of course on the Challenger, and some select odds and ends on the truck, because it's a mix. That's just how it is. It was sort of in that era of time. But once again, 13 all the way up to 21. It's got the Take It Easy tool finder, which as we spin it around, that's actually, if you invest heavily in Wera stuff, this comes in super, super nice. Now, what they typically do, so you don't have the overlap issues, or you don't tell somebody to grab the blue one, like once you learn the color schemes, you're golden, and you think, well, they're going to do the same stupid thing with their SAE sockets, right? Typically, no. Where you see the seafoam green here on the 13 and the green on the 21, they'll typically reverse the color patterns or something similarly close to that. And again, that's just kind of out of a convenience to you. So there we are with that setup. And what I want to do now is swing these over to the Challenger, or the Duster, I should say. Fear not, it's tarped. So right here, this is what we're going to take a look at. And this, as you can see, is what we brought in. It's the 1441 screw grouper attachment for screwdriver blades. But wait, there's more. Long bits and L keys. Alright, so this isn't just intended for a screwdriver. This was designed to work with their hex keys, which that's an L key in their terminology, and their longer bits. So if you've got like an impact rated power bit type of a thing, from Wera, this is designed to work. Now, where I screwed up and probably could have saved, there is 2 of these. There's the red band and there's the gold band. And the one we have, of course, has the red band, and what it is going to be good for is shafts, if you will, from 4 to 6.5 millimeters. As you can kind of 4.5 to 6, I should say. And then the gold one is going to be a little bit bigger diameter, and it's going to be able to go from 6.5, or I'm sorry, 6 to 8.5. So this one, 4.5 to 6, and then if you have a wider, if you're dealing with larger screws or bigger hex sizes or torque sizes, whatever it may be, 6 to 8.5. They do sell them as a pair. They don't list the large one individually. So if we like this, I guess I'll come back in and try to buy the set. The part number for the set, I guess, would be 1440, 1442. And then that one right there, 1441, 4.5 to 6. So let me set that down, and I think we're going to make another break here as I cut that open. True confession, I tore it. Here's the proof. So I've not put this on anything. I've not played with it yet. I wanted that to all be first-hand, real-world impressions. That is the design, sort of like the nuclear type of a symbol, if you will. You can kind of see the shaft there. Looks to be plastic. I'm not seeing any rubber in there. And then, of course, we've got the same design up top. And then the screw holding function. That's just a fixed position, right? Nothing too crazy. There's not much spring. It's just fixed in place. So what we want to do, and this is in part to what we've done with some previous tools, namely the Philo Imtech and our new one from Gearhead, which I thought I grabbed and I don't see. But this Imtech over here, this was Philo's version, right? Kind of a different take on it. It's got the magnetic tip. It just simply slides up to hold the screw in place. And it seems pretty solid. The Gearhead one, though, that we brought in from the tool outlet was absurd. That thing held a screw like crazy. So what I want to do here is I want to come in. We're just going to grab the classic craft form handle. This is a number 2 laser tip, as you can see. And there's the tip. Here we are. Okay, so maybe that is actually a soft... This is rubber. Again, I don't have feeling in this thumb very well right now either. So plastic holder, this is rubber. My apologies. We're going to come in, slide this up there. We can see our tip. You can kind of see the lasers coming through there. And I'm going to use the same screw. I painstakingly tracked it down because even though it's rusted, it was in the old car, the tip is flawless. So what I want to do is bring this up so I can see it, and then I'll show you later. Set that in place. Alright, there we are. So this is it. This is a long reach, so we're going full on theoretical here. This is going to be a long shaft driver. We're assuming it's hard to reach. We're assuming we're dropping screws. We're getting frustrated. We're running into components on the side, whatever it might be. Coming up from a dash, I don't know. But we've got that in place. We've got the screw. Now let's kind of have some incidental contact here. All right, coming down with it. I think this is a good one. Now, this is a very similar design to our VHA setup, right? The catch is this is something that you can remove from driver to driver. In fact, driver is fully out. Let's test this, shall we? It's actually holding that screw surprisingly well. You can see it's just pinned between those two prongs. There's no sleight of hand, no trickery here. I have nothing to gain by doing this for Wera. It's just those tabs, plastic tabs holding it. In fact, I'll bring this out so it's at the tip there. Again, you can kind of see, since the screw is rusty, it actually works in our favor even though it's black. And you can see that there's a gap there, so I'm just going to come down. That's about as fast as there we go. And sadly, that went way back. Didn't crash to the floor because it caught on something. But we did manage to lose the screw. Now, truth be told, that's going to be a very pressing instance, I must say. But the reason all these drivers are here is I want to see if they're going to slide over, right? So this is just kind of the bare bones, cheapest Wera driver. It's going to be a good fit. Also, the secondary thing I'm hoping to accomplish here is to see how well this is going to stay intact. Now, if you're going to use this frequently, I would possibly have a dedicated driver. And what I mean by that is just have a driver that's in good condition that you can slide this over the shaft and leave it there. If you don't, if you're limited to one driver, you can pull this on and off. That will wear it down quicker. But I wanted to go through these, see what fits, and also see if this becomes easier to slide on because it's wearing down, or if we even are able to wear it out this early. But right now, you have to put some pretty considerable force behind that. So we'll come in, we'll do the Wera wooden handle driver here. Same type of a fit. I think it's not everything Wera that we have. I grabbed this one too, which might be the ultimate demolition driver. So many of these poor things are just waiting for my thumb to get better so we can do our shootout. The wooden one is in progress. It's been in progress. I just kind of got shafted there, literally, with a thumb injury. But so far, and keep in mind, this one, what's special on it, you see the hex bolster. This is also a hex shaft. So where these were round shafts, even with the hex bolster on their wooden driver, it's all been a round cylindrical shaft. This is a hexagonal shaft, like key stock, and it fit. So there's what it looks like after going on there. It looks just about the same. So now that we've maybe stretched it, let's see what we're up against. We'll take our good friend Philo here. This is their number 2 driver that I've tried to not use because the other one, which is currently in the Challenger's trunk, has been our bread and butter winner. There it is, doing quite well. Fits like a glove still. We'll come in. Don't think many of you even knew we had these. These go way back. These are Macs we brought in for the test. Sliding over. Still a good fit. Very snug. Hasn't worn it out yet. Now we're going to come into this sweet vessel, which I think I've used like twice. I try not to, so we can have a fair evaluation. But there it is in place. Still tight. I don't know if you hear that satisfying pull-off sound when it happens. We'll come in for electrical people if you got Kleins. Perfect. I don't know if you hear that again. I'm hoping you do. Just for the heck of it, I felt like this shaft, just glancing down at my stuff, was bigger. This is the VHA dynamic one. I don't know if it'll even fit through there. The tip might be an issue. I'm going to try it. I feel kind of bad doing this. Okay. So that it was very large. That's like a needle in a haystack almost. And it still had a good fit. Now, this is their VDE stainless driver. I didn't think it would work here, but given that we've gotten it to fit the hex and that shaft, I'm thinking there's a chance. Oh, like a champion. Check this out. So you get the idea, like this is considerably thicker than a standard shaft because it's VDE, right? We've got the insulated tool here. And it just, since that's a soft rubber, it just kind of takes it and moves on with life. So gotta say, I am impressed by that. But, since why not go a little full tilt here? We've got the standard. No. This will be a VHA. It's not their standard. This is their hex bolstered one, so it's a hex shaft as well. That slid in really good. Still came off snug, but I'm wondering if we're not maybe already stretching her out just a little bit. Let's grab a standard VHA here. So we've just got the classic soft finish, which, hey, this color scheme works, you know. A Wera and VHA in this case. That also slid up really well, so I think we are kind of starting to see the rubber wear just a little bit. But you gotta remember, if this was something I was going to rely upon or do a specific job with, my personal advice, put this sucker on and leave it there. And then if you do have to use, say, with a hex key or something, or a square drive, something along those lines, maybe switch it then. But if your bread and butter is going to be, you know, a long shafted driver with really tiny machine screws or something that are Phillips 2, put it on and leave it there as long as you possibly can, right? So we'll come in, we've got this VIT driver, shouldn't be an issue. Boom. So if you love the tri-lobe design of the Max Pros, but you wanted something screw holding, this compatibility, the way they've engineered and designed it, becomes an option for you. We'll come in, we'll grab the Stavilla 3K, don't see any issues, but again, this is kind of just science. I want to see if this starts to wear down any. And it kind of is. But again, it's still grabbing, and that is our main selling point. So, the classic. Gone but not forgotten, my old friend. The ProTurn 3K. Let's check this out. And it is a chrome shaft as well. That's like the smoothest shaft we have outside of the Klein on this table. Everything else is kind of a matte chrome finish. Except the vessel. The vessel and the Klein would be our differences there. You kind of get the idea. It's a little looser than it was, but still not bad. Now, the big show, right? The unexpected stuff. Let's come in, and we're going to grab these. Do you see what these are? You're like, oh yeah, hex keys. Well, these are Torx keys, suckers. And, let's just grab, let's go yellow here for high vis, shall we? Not even sure what the size is on that. It is going to be 25. Wouldn't you know it? I just have a thing for T25. But let's say that I'm stuck and I'm having to do the crates without my impact stuff. The hold up here is the sleeve, right? Just like with our VDE, since the VDE cleared, I'm fully confident this will. Let me bring that up. Oh yeah, this is nice, I must say. Now there it is. This would be if you're doing T25 stuff. Boom, you're fixed. Amazing, right? Now let's come over here and let's just grab their El Cheapo. I mean, you can get these things dirt cheap. This little set of hex keys, and it is hex plus for what it's worth. Let's grab this one, okay? Just at random. And I'm gonna try to hold this where you can see it, kind of what it does to the plastic, or the rubber I should say. This one's not huge. We'll try to get an excessively large one to showcase it better. But see how it just kind of contorts and takes it? And we are through, we are in, if you will. Now, last but not least, we have standard hex keys, right? Got the metric set here, that's why it's not the soft pouch. And what am I going to do? We're going to go grab the 6. This one is big. This one's bulky. It might be pushing the size limit. In fact, it is. With the coating, it might be overkill. There's proof of what we're working with. We're going to assume we've got to go way down, which is why we're using this. And what I'm going to try to do is make this where you can see it conform. So we are in. It's sliding fine. Now keep in mind, if this didn't have the Take It Easy tool finder sleeve, which I personally still like, I know a lot of you complain about them, this would be much easier. This would be done. I'm trying. It's so hard for you to see that. See how it's kind of contorting and bending? Okay. As we slide her on through, we are now in position already, and some of that is down. That's a sweet looking. So proud of myself for picking the red handle there. But check that out. That would be a 6mm hex key with the sleeve. So we're going to have to measure out more than that. So realistically, we've probably put this beyond its intended bounds. This one right here was going to be 4.5 to 6. However, if that's all you have, or if this is what you have and you need to use it, you're probably going to stretch it, push it past its intended limits as well. And it looks like it's going to handle it like a champ. Now, the issue will come, we just took it off. How does it handle itself when it goes back on a standard driver? Let's grab the long laser tip here. Okay, this is the slimmest shaft that we've got on the table. Actually, the Klein looks the slimmest, but it still fits well, still holds up. Okay, so we put this through its paces here for its first little life after an unboxing. We have 1, 2, 3 with the hex. 4, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, plus again 14. So we had this basically on and off 14 times, and I think that has worn it down some, but I mean very minimal. Now, if you came in and you did 15 shaft changes a day, which is excessive and kind of stupid, but if you did that, you know, throughout the week, you'd have like 75 or so. Then 2 weeks, you'd be at 150. Your first month, on and off 600 times. Maybe you get to a point where you come in and you try to slide this on and it just slips on like butter, and then it also slips off. But initial impressions, it's not that bad. And again, what my advice would be, if you come in and if you think, man, that thing held the screw fantastic, I've got to pick one of these up. They were $5, I'll give it a go. Which, keep in mind, this thing is like 23. Now, the VHA driver was super cheap because it was a tool outlet and you probably can't get it anymore. In fact, it's off their site, so it's gone. But if you had one, you would be set. But the bottom line, this becomes a very viable option. Let's say that you love Philo. That's all you care about. Maybe you're one of those vessel guys, you swear by them. Here you go. $5 solution for a screw holding driver. Now, what I would advise, let's say that you come in and you use this quite frequently. Take a driver. It doesn't have to be your favorite one. That way you can use it regularly. But take, you know, like a spare or a backup, or even bring one in. You know, buy yourself, you know, like a $5 to $10 screwdriver off KC Tool or Amazon that's got a good tip. But come in, put this in place, and just know that this is going to be your screw holding Phillips number 2 solution. Now, if it's a situation where you also do a lot of like relays or breakers or something and you need something slotted, come in, and my advice would be the same thing. If you've got extra drivers, put them in place, leave that on, because that way you're going to prolong the life of the rubber boot. Now, you've got 2 potential failure points. Number 1 is, of course, going to be the plastic. You know, at what point in time do you ram this down in a deep or clogged hole and it actually breaks or bends it really bad and you can't get it back to have tension on the screw? I don't know. We're going to have to experience that ourselves. Your other fail point on this would simply be the boot. It's going to get worn as it's on and off. Now, if you leave this on this driver for eternity, I boldly predict you're going to break the plastic tabs before this ever wears off. Like, you're going to turn this upside down to go into your long reach, right? I don't envision that falling off. I envision you being more likely to break the plastic tab. That's just me and my assumption based on my past experiences. But again, if you do, say, Phillips 2, and then you also do a lot of T25 stuff or very small stuff, you know, again, like inside an electrical panel, maybe it's like T8, something along those lines, make sure that your shaft size of the driver is sufficiently big, 4.5 being the minimal for this one. pick up several of these. If you need one for slotted screws and you need one for Phillips 2 and you also drive Phillips Zeros, whatever it might be, if you're going to get this and you like it, come in, complete the arsenal, and then just eliminate this being a failure point and just wait until the plastic breaks. If you bring one in and the plastic breaks off in the second week, maybe that's when you consider something, let's pan out here, like the Philo M-Tech up there. I don't know. It's going to vary depending on what you're doing and how frequently, but if you're just a hobbyist in your garage, $5 and change here for the holder, and then pick yourself up whatever driver you want. Again, you can get some really nice screwdrivers for well under $10. Pick up a dedicated driver, put them in place. It's a marriage. They're not going anywhere. When this breaks off, you have to retire it, slide a new one in place. That would be my recommendation there. But this is way longer than I wanted it to be. I thought this would be like a short and quick video. My apologies there. But again, the coolest thing about that, where the M-Tech is fixed for our VHA is fixed, if you have this and you like it, you can take it off, you can put it on Torx, you can put it on hex keys, you can put it on anything. As long as it's, 4.5 to 6 or a little above, it's going to fit. Keep in mind what we did with this one probably stretched her a little beyond the intended limits. But I am impressed enough with this that I will stick on my wish list the set. And that bigger one that's going to have the golden band right there, that will cover, was it 6 to 8.5 or 6 to 8? Something like that. Let me look over here. The one we have is 4.5 to 6, and the other one is 6 to 8.5. So if you were dealing with larger shafts like this, or bigger hex keys, come in, sized accordingly. My advice is probably buy the set because I assume you can save a little bit of money. But I gotta say, I am intrigued by that. And again, this is a very similar design to the VHA driver we just took a look at in VHA Tool Haul number 5. This is sort of that end if it didn't have any, spring-related mechanisms in the handle. So we'll see how that thing holds up. We'll see which one we ultimately like better, which one performs best for us. I'm going to try to remember to grab that screw back there. But the other thing we picked up again was the Wera Impactor socket set. This is 1/2-inch drive metric 13 all the way up to 21. And again, for me personally, didn't know that I had the 17 and the 19. It is what it is now. I guess I have backups there. But everything else didn't have metric impact sockets of any size. 3/8, quarter, nothing. So 1/2-inch for me, that's kind of when I would bust out an impact if something's seized up, and I am going to use it here at the house. So beneficial in that sense. And again, these are made in Taiwan, but again, so is that Tecton, right? The ratchet we had up there. Taiwan, they do ratcheting stuff very well, and their quality is going to be considerably higher in most cases than something that would come out of China. But again, to me personally, an impact socket is not something I want to break the bank on, and I'm willing to kind of see how these do. If we like them, we'll expand the set with more. If we hate them, I'll go try something else, probably Tecton, again, because they've held up okay at work so far. But it is what it is. Again, I could get like 3 SK sockets maybe for this price, or I could get these 9 and this fancy carrier and the Wera sticker for $65. So I will see how these do. We'll kind of take it from there, but I do love the fact that it's the Take It Easy tool finder. Also, even if you think the colors are stupid and you'll never use them, which you will if you kind of invest in their system, the fact that the size is printed in big contrast lettering. Now, would I love to have seen it on 2 sides? Absolutely. But that right there is huge. Just having the size boldly printed, because again, this is a 17mm socket as well. And which one would you rather be told, hey, go grab me a 17? Or, hey, that bolt that you need to break free is a 17? Because I'm spinning this around now, and it's got the 17mm right there. You can kind of see with the glare, right? And there's the 1, there's the 7, there's the MM, and there's the Take It Easy. I don't know. I'm inclined to say this one's a little easier to find. So I'm pretty happy with the purchase. Again, as long as they don't suck, we should be fine. I'm optimistic they won't. I don't think Wera would have put their name on them if they hated them. But maybe they did. Maybe they're trying to pull the wool over our eyes. I don't know. Initial impressions on them is fan-freaking-tastic. We're going to see how they hold up for us. And again, the little screwdriver holder, the screw holder, if you will, pretty impressive for $5. So it's, again, very, very similar to our VHA, and we'll kind of put these head to head. I'll try to alternate between the three on a job and see if maybe this one breaks the tangs. Maybe the VHA performs best, maybe the magnet's too weak. I don't know. We're going to figure it out over time. If you've used a series of screw holders, which ones do you like? Which ones have you had the best luck with? Which ones do you stay away from? Feel free to leave a comment. Let everybody know. Well, once again, links will be down below. You can find both of these on KC Tool. These are literally brand new. That's why I'm kind of pushing this one to the forefront. And I will leave it at that. So my apologies. This is way longer than I thought it would be. And like I say, you have something cool come in and you want to do it proper, showcase it. If you were on the fence about these, hopefully now you can say, yes, I will purchase those, or I'm staying away. Same thing with that. If you're like, oh, that M-Tech is a way better design, go for it. If you think, hey, I'm going to try that specifically for my Torx L keys, awesome. But whatever you do, if you bring it in and you have issues, whether you love it or you hate it, if you could be so kind and come back and let people know, that will help them. That kind of validates you as well. So it's lots of people eat at Taco Bell and like it every day, but you never hear about that. You hear about the bad experiences. I try to kind of highlight both, and then again, helps you make the best decision. Now, something I nearly forgot. Got to extend the video, right? Make it a little bit longer. This is, of course, our screw holder. Now, this is a VHA Terminator T25, right? Wera said that these would work with their long bits, and I don't have any Wera long bits, but I do have this one. I think you would want that to be a little bit longer of a bit, but this would totally work because we could get the fastener down, we could have it secured between the tabs, and we still have plenty of clearance here for our driver. So that is a check. And what I want to do now, I had, again, this is not Wera, this is Philo, where that impact bit had that red sleeve on it from the VHA Terminator. This Philo actually necks down and it's extremely narrow, and I'm very afraid that I'm going to use this and break it. But slide it in. I think it would work too. Now, I will assume Wera has designed this kind of more in line with their own long bits. I don't have one to showcase, but I do think if you had to, you could get by with that. So there we go. I will leave it at that. Links are down below in the description. If you like this glove I've been wearing, we can save you a ton with discount code Lone Star. alphagloves.us. Be sure to check them out. Nothing bad to say on that front. I've had several of you tell me you picked them up. I had a friend just got some for her husband and dad. She was happy with them once they came in person. And she's pretty particular, so that says a lot. Nonetheless, thanks so much for watching. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There's a really cold breeze coming in my cracked door, so I'm going to go shut that. True story, I had a bird come in last week. That was fun. But hey, nonetheless, thanks for watching. I will catch you back here in the next one.